looking through the blinds to see the fresh fallen snow beautifully covering the grass. Seeing the evidence of the sun peeking over the horizon, threatening to melt away the glistening layer. Knowing full well that it will return again in one form or another. Rain, hail, ice, or once again snow. Yet just one more testament to the evidence and the glory of God.
Well, hello there, and welcome back to the channel once again. Well, for those of you who may be tuning in for the first time, I'm pleased to have you on board. This is the AMA channel, Ask Me Anything. I am your host, David Watson. Here our goal is to gather your questions and find qualified answers. I promise to get to your questions as soon as possible, and I will do that by hitting the research trail and making the most of AI. So feel free to submit your questions in the comment section, or if you like, send them to my email address, answers1939@gmail.com. But before I get to today's questions, I want to refresh your memory of some of the past questions that have already been asked and answered. Does gravity affect blood flow in the human body? How can you invest in bitcoins? Can chickens lay eggs without the help of a rooster? How far is the planet Mars from the planet Saturn? How does the 25th Amendment work? How will AI affect the job market in the next 5 years? How should we treat people from other countries? Can I buy a robot for my home, and how much would it cost? Are we drinking the same water that was here during the prehistoric times? Those are just a few of the questions that have been asked and answered. And if you missed those questions and answers, you can find them on my channel along with the rest of my videos. Okay, now let's get on to today's questions. But before I do, what is the true story of the first Thanksgiving? Most Americans grow up hearing the simple version: friendly pilgrims and Native Americans sharing a peaceful meal. The real story is more complicated, but still important to understand. The Pilgrims were English religious separatists who left England to escape persecution. They first lived in the Netherlands and then decided to sail to North America for a fresh start. In 1620, they sailed on the Mayflower, landing at Plymouth, which today is known as Massachusetts. Almost half of the Pilgrims died during the first winter. They died from disease, starvation, and cold weather. The rest survived partly because of help from the native people, especially the Wampanoag Nation. The Wampanoag Nation, they were Native American people who lived over 12,000 years in what is now known as southeastern Massachusetts. They taught the Pilgrims how to plant corn and other crops and how to survive the New England climate. A key figure was Sequanta, a Native American who had been kidnapped by Europeans. He learned English while in captivity, and when he was released, he returned home to find his village wiped out by disease. He then became a translator and a guide. Then came the 1621 Harvest Feast, the event we call the first Thanksgiving. It happened in the fall of 1621. It wasn't called Thanksgiving, and it lasted 3 days. It was mainly a harvest celebration, something both English and native cultures traditionally held. About 50 pilgrims and about 90 Native Americans were there, and they probably ate deer, maybe turkey, ducks, or geese, and corn dishes with seafood. Not pumpkin pie or sweet potato pie, not cranberry sauce or mashed potatoes, no dressing or macaroni and cheese. These dishes came later. But what we don't usually hear about this story is while the feast was peaceful, relation between English and settlers and native tribes eventually turned violent. So their first Thanksgiving wasn't the start of lasting peace. It was just a moment before a major conflict. Some key factors about Thanksgiving are in the 17 and 1800s, many colonies held their own day of Thanksgiving. But in 1863, President Abraham Lincoln declared it a national Thanksgiving holiday to promote unity. And finally, in 1941, the U.S. Congress officially set the date as the fourth Thursday in November. And that is how our Thanksgiving holiday came to be. My next question is my TV spying on me in my own home? The answer is yes. Smart TVs can spy on you through data collection features like automatic content recognition, known as ACR. Microphones and even cameras are used. Smart TVs collect data with automatic content recognition. This technology identifies what you're watching, whether it's streaming or cable or even HDMI connected devices, and then it sends the data to manufacturers or third parties for ad targeting. If the built-in mics or cameras are left on, they could be exploited by hackers or used for surveillance. And streaming apps like Netflix or YouTube may collect data on your viewing habits, even if you don't sign in. TVs can log your location, tell which apps you open, and how often you use it, which could be a risk to your privacy and security. And once they know your viewing habits, it's often used for ads, including political or health-related messages. And some manufacturers have sold users' data to third-party brokers. And if your TV is connected to the internet, someone could possibly hack into it and spy on your data. They could even change your settings or even access your home network. But there are ways to protect yourself. Turn off the ACR by disabling this feature in your smart TV's privacy setting. If your smart TV has a camera, you might want to consider covering it with tape. And my next question. Okay. When the United States imposes a tariff, who pays the tariff? Technically, the importing company pays the tariff to the government. But, and here's the key, that cost often gets passed on down. The importer pays more. They charge higher prices to the manufacturers. Manufacturers charge higher prices to the retailers. Retailers charge higher prices to the consumers. So consumers end up paying part or all of the tariff. So in reality, tariffs are a tax on public consumers. Okay, let's see what we have here. Is there an inexpensive way to get rid of acne? Yes, there are a few inexpensive ways to help reduce acne, especially mild to moderate outbreaks. But keep in mind, if things are serious or getting worse, you should see a dermatologist. Here are a few things that dermatologists recommend. Use a gentle cleanser twice a day, morning and night. Avoid harsh scrubs. Use a lightweight moisturizer that will not clog pores. This will help the skin barrier and prevent irritation. Use sunscreen, SPF 30 or more, and use it every day. Use over-the-counter acne fighting ingredients such as benzoyl peroxide, which kills bacteria and reduces inflammation, and use adapalene, a retinoid that prevents blood pores and pimples. Salicylic acid helps remove dead skins and clears pores. Be patient and stick with regimens because many over-the-counter treatments can take 4 to 8 weeks or more. Don't pick or squeeze pimples. That causes more damage or even scarring. And don't use heavy, oily cosmetics on your face. A question about popcorn. What makes popcorn pop? Well, each kernel has a little bit of water inside, and when heated, the water turns to steam pressure, and the kernel bursts open, and that's what causes your popcorn to pop. Why do leaves change color in the fall? As days get shorter and cooler, trees stop making chlorophyll, which gives leaves their green color. And when it fades, the yellow, orange, and red pigments underneath become visible. Okay. How do airplanes stay in the air? Airplane wings are shaped to push air faster over the top than underneath. This difference in air pressure creates lift, which keeps the plane up while the engines move it forward. And, okay, why is the sky blue? Because sunlight is made of many colors, and when it hits the air, blue light scatters more than other colors. The scattered blue light is what we see when we look up. Should you allow your dog to eat grapes? No. Grapes and raisins can be toxic to dogs and may cause kidney failure. So do not feed grapes or raisins to your dog. Okay, what's the difference between a crocodile and an alligator? Crocodiles have a V-shaped snout and live in salt water. Alligators have a U-shaped snout and usually live in fresh water. And someone wants to know how many bones are in the human body. Adults have 206 bones. Babies born with more, but some fuse over time. How many planets are in our solar system? There are 8 planets in our solar system: Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, and Neptune. Interesting. Can lightning, I've heard often said that lightning can't strike twice in the same place. The question is, can lightning strike the same place twice? Well, the answer is absolutely yes. Tall structures like the Empire State Building get struck multiple times every year. And what is the smallest bone in the human body? The stapes, or stirrup bone in the middle ear. Why do stars twinkle? Stars twinkle because their lights bend as they pass through Earth's atmosphere. What is a light year? A light year is the distance light travels in 1 year. About 5.88 trillion miles. It measures distance and not time. What happened to your body in space without a spacesuit? Well, you wouldn't explode like many people think, but you quickly lose consciousness from lack of oxygen. You can only survive for about 15 seconds before serious damage occurs. And why do birds fly in a V shape? Flying in a V-shaped formation helps birds save energy. Each bird catches the air current from the one ahead of it, reducing the wind resistance. How do bats see in the dark? Most bats use echolocation. They make high-pitched sounds that bounce off objects, and by listening to the echoes, they can see with sound. And why do bees die after stinging? When a honeybee stings a human, the stinger gets stuck in the person's skin, and as the bee flies away, part of its body tears off and it dies. However, other bee species can sting multiple times. And someone wants to know, do sharks sleep? Sharks don't sleep like humans, but they rest by slowing their movement. Some species just keep swimming slowly, even while resting, to push water over their gills. Well, as always, I want to take time to thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and submit your questions in the comment section or send them to my email address at answers1939@gmail.com. See you next time.